caught up in grouping things. And speaking of Elite, let's get this show started because we'll have a conversation about Elite to get this going. Because I think I would love to hear now what you have to say on this next subject. But let's get started. Hold on.
Was the bass really loud?
That's terrible.
That is blasphemous.
That blow your eardrums out. Welcome back to another episode of Around the Clock Podcast. I'm your host, Dom, joined by Brandon the Entertainer and the illustrious Jet Boyer. We got a guest on the show this week, co-founder, or founder, I should say, of Athletically Declined, presented by, that's what this is presented by as always. So happy to get into this show. This is episode 16, I believe. And prior, illustrious. Do you know what that word means?
It sounds...
I've said
sexy.
it. I've said it every episode. I find
you said it about Gary.
No, because he's not here today.
Are you belittling my ability to be illustrious?
No, I mean it just sounds like
it.
you're hitting on him.
I mean,
well, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. It is a pleasure. Love the content. Love having you guys on here. Brandon, it is always great getting to hear you talk about yourself and hear your voice in general. And Dom, it is just great to see your face.
Do I have arrogance written on my face? This is the second time today somebody has talked
based
about
on the last 7 minutes.
myself.
I'm gonna say this because you're my family. You look like you have stupidity written all over your face when it comes to this elite conversation.
Damn.
Here's the thing, Steve. By the way, you're going to hear me say that a lot on the show, and I just want to make the reference clear. It's because if you don't know, he looks just like, or he sounds just like Kevin Hart. So,
by the way, let's shout out
Baseballism. Use that code 8015 for 15% off your next order.
I just got
Baseballism.com. Check them out. Check them out.
Just got this one.
That's some great merch, man. I'm telling you, it's dope. It's dope.
You like that?
I like that. More than a number 42. Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
A lot of history behind that.
They also, the Tony Gwynn drop just happened too, boys.
Yeah, I saw the Tony Gwynn drop. Are they going to do a whole Jackie Robertson deal? Have you talked to them? I don't know. If they do, I'm all about that.
Well, I think the reason is because they do a drop every year on 442 day, and I think that's why they're not going to just do a full line.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I actually, even saying that, I think they did do a line though. I bet you what they're going to do though moving forward. Just again, a little spoiler. I don't know. I haven't talked to them about it, but because they're doing, excuse me, instead of the Field of Dreams game, they're doing the Negro League, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I did see that. I bet you that they're going to do a drop for that. It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I saw it on their website. Something about the Negro League one. So,
well, I don't know if we'll post this first 7 minutes of the argument we were having prior to we got this episode started. But we were having a conversation about elite ability, elite talent, and kind of what that word means. Brandon seems to think it's being thrown around a lot. Jet and I seem to think that there's levels to it, which I believe. There's degrees of separation to eliteness, but that leads us into the topic of the WNBA. So we're going to get started right on that. For what a lot would call elite would be Caitlin Clark, number 1 pick to the Indiana Fever out of Iowa, did not make the Olympic team. And so let me just ask you this question. Is Caitlin Clark elite?
Is she elite?
Yeah.
Right now in her professional career, no.
Okay.
No.
It's crazy because in the group chat you were really pushing for her to.
But did you ever hear me? Did you ever hear me
make
use
the Olympic team?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. She should make the Olympic team. 100%. It's just good for women's basketball for her to make the Olympic team. I think it's the fact that she doesn't have some representative of the WNBA just backing her to get her on that team is just baffling to me. Like, why wouldn't you want to see the most polarizing player right now in women's, probably women's sports in general, but definitely for women's basketball, playing with some of the best women's talent right now? Like, it just it can't be about wins and losses to me, because you already know, we talked about this, they haven't lost a game since 1992.
Yeah, but it's about talent. And
since you were born.
She's not elite. You answered the question right there. Caitlin Clark in her profession right now is not elite. And if she was elite, she'd be on that team. But she isn't.
But she's playing just as good as some of the girls on there.
But she isn't. Those girls are veterans. Those girls are better at the guard position. Those girls are better than her right now. All the guards on that team are better than her right now.
Let me give you some stats. Let me give you some stats real quick. Let's go to the stats, and then I'll give you my opinion on this. So I just want to let you know the only stats that Caitlin Clark right now, not compared her to rookies, we're going to compare her to the WNBA because that is what is going on. This is the WNBA Olympics.
Facts.
Okay. So Caitlin Clark is number 4 in assists. Okay. 6.3. Number 4. That is behind Jackie Young, who was on that team. Okay. That is also behind Natasha Cloud and Alyssa Thomas, which, if I remember correctly, Natasha Cloud was not on that team. And I think Alyssa, you'll have to correct me there, but
I gotta pull that.
I don't think Alyssa Thomas was on that team. Go ahead and spot check me there.
Let's look it up. So we got Jackie Young. She's on it.
So Jackie
Ariel
Young,
Atkins,
she was on that.
Shakira Austin, Leah Boston,
Natasha Cloud,
Chelsea Gray, Brittany Griner, Ryan Howard, Sabrina Anasio, Jewel Lloyd, Kelsey Plum, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, Asia Wilson, who is the most elite basketball player in the WNBA right elite now. And Jackie Young didn't make the team.
Okay, yes.
So yeah,
okay, so I was right
that's
there.
the entire roster.
Okay, so let's just be clear. Jackie Young
should Brittany Griner be in jail somewhere?
Look, I'll get there.
We dropped the politics conversation earlier. We're not going to get into that.
Okay, but hey, just small note. I will say one of the funniest memes I ever saw was Brittany Griner worst trade.
Oh yeah,
I
saw that.
Yeah.
Also, side note on Brittany Griner, there's a video floating around of her shooting basketball outside, in her backyard, just shirtless, like she is a man, just completely shirtless, no bra on, flat chest and everything. Weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Also, why? Let me finish this, and then
we're good.
So Natasha Cloud is second. She's not on that roster. Okay, so again, 7.6 assists a game, and then Alyssa Thomas, who is 8.6 assists a game, also not on that roster. Okay, so the next list that she's on in a top 5 manner is 3-pointers made, and that is 2.8. Diana Taurasi is on that roster, and she is 1 above her. Kelsey Plum is on that roster. She is at number 2, and then Kayla McBride is number 1. So those are the only 2 that Caitlin Clark even shows up on. Yeah. And if you're asking me what rookie should be on that team, 100% I agree with you. If you're going to put a rookie on the team, it should be Caitlin. Yeah, for anything for marketability.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
Now,
but I don't believe the Olympics is about marketability. The Olympics is a world game, in my opinion.
I will disagree only on this instance, because you got to look at the optics of where we're at, right? What is going on in women's sports? We're trying to progress the game.
This is telling me I'm a producer and I'm not being recorded. What the hell is going on? We've been talking this whole time. I've been talking to myself.
What?
It says you joined as a producer. You are not being recorded.
That's weird. What does that mean? I see you on the thing.
Yeah, I see it right here. It says Around the Clock has joined as a producer and isn't being recorded.
Okay. Before we get too deep, let's technical difficulties, folks.
How do we do this? What are we supposed to do?
I have no clue.
I think you're gonna need to stop it and then restart it.
Yeah, but hold on. Oh man, we had a great show going too. Jesus Christ, I'm glad I caught that.
Well, that's a good stopping point right there, because I'm about to cook both y'all ass.
Okay, all right. Can you switch while you're mid?
I do not know.
How do you even join as a producer? How does that even?
I joined as a producer just so that I could set everything up, because the host necessarily can't do that. Can I join? I'm gonna leave real quick. Leave studio. Around the Clock podcast. Shit. Let's see here. Go to studio.
I can tell. So you had a little drink.
Okay, that was weird. That was weird. I'm recording now. I guess you just will hear my voice in the first 7 minutes of this episode, that's all good. It's no big deal. No big deal. But get back to cooking.
So the point I guess I'm trying to make here is this is a marketability opportunity for the WNBA, because we're in such a pivotal spot with the emergence of Caitlin Clark and what she means to women's basketball. I'm not saying just WNBA, women's basketball as a whole. And Caitlin Clark has been bringing in numbers that even a lot of the Final Four from men's teams were not bringing in during women's college basketball. That is translated over to the fact that you have WNBA games that feature the Indiana Fever where they're having to move to larger arenas because they don't have room for them. And that's great. We want to see that. Now, how big of a missed opportunity is it if you don't capitalize that with an Olympic push? Because now you have the world. It's a global thing. Think about what made Kobe, what made Jordan, what made Yao Ming, right? If you want to go on a different side note, right? What made them so big, their brand? They were a global brand. And you can make the argument that what happened with the Dream Team elevated NBA basketball and names in NBA basketball to such a level that maybe those people would have never seen because they were so stuck back in those days about how overseas Euroball, they were still thinking, people need to remember this, they still thought Euroball was superior to NBA back in the early 90s, late 80s, because they were spanking that ass years before.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a common misconception that we started putting our pro guys in there just for the mere fact that we were losing at a sport that was, invented here. But it's also because the NBA was in a high marketing point at that point in the late 80s and early 90s, that they knew if they put their stars into the Team USA, that it would just draw more eyes to the NBA. And that's
right.
And they're missing it with one player right now.
I agree, but I also understand the sense that the WNBA is still going to continue to grow with or without her on that Olympic team. I understand the marketing side of it. I understand that potentially they dropped the ball, but it's also like no participation trophy should be given. Like, and she shouldn't want to be on there just because of what her name is, in my opinion. Like, you should earn your spot for that team like every other girl did that's playing better than you. Because if she made that team based on these statistics, she's not going to play that much. And maybe she will because they dominate. So, yeah, she'll get PT, but, like, she's not going to be in the starting rotation, and it's not going to be the marketing ploy that everyone expects it to be. She's going to keep growing the game here, which is already happening, and the WNBA is growing. I have seen more shit on the WNBA on my social media feed than I've ever in my entire life. It's not just Caitlin Clark. It's not just Caitlin Clark. I see all these women now.
Can I also say this? Like, of all of the women, I think the one that continues to get missed, like not noticed as much as they should, and enough credit is, first of all, Angel Reese is doing nothing to her reputation, but in my opinion, completely ruining it. She's making herself look like an absolute clown, and in doing that, she is, allowing some of these girls to really outshine the fact that she's tied for fourth in rebounds right now.
Playing really well. It's just every time she opens her fucking mouth is when she starts to like there's one thing I don't like about her, like when they interview her, and like maybe this is just media training or maybe this is, but it's like she said it probably 10 times in every interview I've ever seen her. She always goes with this, that's just how I'm from Baltimore. That's how, nobody, I don't give a fuck if you're from Baltimore. You are a professional. You are a professional. There is a way you need to act now. Like you being from Baltimore and doing things a certain way. This is the WNBA. This is professional basketball. And honestly, it's been very entertaining to watch. But I think her teammates outshining her too.
Is remember this, like in Dom, I'm sure you watched some Angel Reese in college.
Yeah.
She benefited a lot from having Haley Van Leet there. Like people forget Haley Van Leet ain't no scrub. Like, that's going to be probably your number one pick next year. She was on there helping her get set up to look as good as she did in LSU, number one. Number two,
she probably should have never transferred there.
She should have never transferred there.
No.
But the fact that Angel Reese came into that year thinking she was going to be the number one pick and having Caitlin Clark completely obliterate her run, because that's what happened. Let's be honest. Like Caitlin Clark completely outshined her. I think there's a lot of mental there too.
I think last year they knew it too. The problem is that none of these women, and I get it to a degree. It's like if you've been working at a company for 10 years and busting your ass, and this new sales guy comes in and starts crushing records, and your fucking boss starts kissing his ass, like, you're gonna feel a type of way about that. And you're not gonna want to give him credit. But at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark is what's helping this brand, and they do need to get behind her. They need to get behind her. Her team needs to get behind her. Just like what's his face said what's his name? Matt Barnes said the other day. He's like, where are your teammates at? You're getting shoved to the ground. You don't have an
Where's
enforcer
your
on your team.
coach at, guys?
Like, where's your
think
entire team to protect the
her
brand,
team's
protect the
ass.
asset? Well,
Her
of course they're
coach-
ass, but still, come on.
Their coach, you mark my words, will not be the coach at the end of the year. Did you guys see what the comment she made after that? After she got that whole situation happened, and they said, why didn't you intervene? And she got real quiet and goes, because I didn't want to get fined. Could you imagine? I'm not even going to go to the NBA.
I mean, the fines are like $500.
Could you imagine Becky Hammon
Oh, she would have lost her
getting
shit.
questioned on that? If that was Asia Wilson, oh my God, she would have been ejected in a heartbeat. But you have arguably, this is your Kobe Bryant. Let's put it that way. And you have the opportunity to be Phil Knight at some point, right? Phil Jackson, and you're going to allow them to do that? Oh hell,
Draymond Green said it best. He was like, he was talking about the situation, and he goes, you ain't knocking over Steph like that. He's like, I'll get ejected before I let you knock over Steph like that. That was his exact word. He's like, you're just not going to do it. He's like, you can knock me down or whatever. You're like,
the WNBA is just such a weird. There's two things here that I think are hurting them. Obviously, number one is Caitlin Clark's hurting herself a little bit. Like, she's having a tougher transition to the pros. She's a great shooter, but she's a liability on defense. She turns the ball over a lot, and she kind of can't handle the physicality of the game so far. Like, she's getting picked on, which is going to happen. It happened to LeBron. It happened to all these guys that come in. The second thing is that the WNBA is just a weird thing because there's so much conflict of interest. It's the only professional sport where these women are fucking each other. Like, it's not happening it's not happening in any other sport.
That's real.
It's not happening in any other sport. Like, these are women playing against their fiancés or playing against their ex-girlfriend, and it's like, because what it was a game the other day where one of the teams got into it, and the girl on the opposing team stepped in because the other girl was her fiance on the other team. It was like when Marshawn Lynch was protecting Marcus Peters when he's playing for the Raiders.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird, bro.
Taurasi, isn't she married to Sue Bird? Right?
No, they're not married.
No, they're like best friends.
Yeah, they're best friends. But they are married to other women.
Right. Yeah. But I could have sworn that Sue Bird was married to another WNBA player.
She might have been or dating one at one point.
I think Diana Taurasi was.
Okay, it was one of them.
I think she was married to, or she maybe still is, or I think she was in a relationship with another woman that was in NBA. I'm pretty sure.
That's what I thought, and like and also too, to kind of piggyback off of that, like let me ask you a question: why in the hell is Brittany Griner on this Olympic team? She has done jack crap this year. She's not even in a top 5 position in any defensive category.
Is there another center that's better than her? I don't watch enough to know who's better than her.
You've got Magenberger from Seattle.
Girl.
Hamby. I mean, in my personal favorite, I think Cameron Brink, of all the women, this is a hot take, is going to end up being.
I think she's the best rookie.
She's going to be the greatest. She will have a better career when it's all said and done than Caitlin Clark. Hot take.
I think overall body of work she will. Like,
because
Caitlin Clark,
you guys y'all know like the background on her. Like, people don't want to like.
She's was it Kobe or who
looks
was
like a supermodel?
I don't know. Steph Curry. Yeah,
she is Steph. Steph Curry is her god brother.
Yeah, they grew up together.
Dale and them. That's her god mom and dad, and she's the god aunt to Steph Curry's kids.
Yeah.
Like, I will say overall body of work, Cameron Brink has a higher ceiling and she's just got better ability. Like Caitlin Clark, nobody wants to say it because she's so electrifying, but she's only electrifying because she can shoot from 50 feet beyond the arc. But outside of that, she's not like
that's pretty electrifying.
Yeah, it is electrifying, but she's a one-trick pony. That's it. She's not a great defender.
She's not Candace Parker.
Yeah, she's not. I mean, she can dish the rock off, but she's just. The downside is right now she is struggling, so it's hard to get that. The marketing will eventually die down if her pace of play and her game doesn't improve. That's just how it works. Like that, you can only capitalize on it for so long. Yeah, but
you have to be bigger. You have to be a bigger bodied player in the WNBA.
She needs to be Asia Wilson size, honestly, and then
I wouldn't say that. Asia Wilson, you realize she's 6'7"? Like,
she a dog.
Y'all are talking.
But Candace Parker's 6'4", bro. Like, or is it Oben Guama? You know what I'm talking about? She played for Dallas. Oh my gosh, Erica Agumbwali. I can't say her name right.
What the WNBA needs is a good rivalry. That's what they need.
You know what?
They need
they pretty much got Bird and Magic right now. Like, but I mean, they're gonna continue utilizing that with her and Angel Reese. Like, I mean, that's what it's gonna be, and that's what. But the only thing that's different with her and Angel Reese, like with Bird and Magic, they were able to go into literally two of the most historic franchises, even at that time, from at their rookie year, and then Magic won his rookie year. You know what I'm saying? But like, so they not completely in the same start, but it's almost like even coming from that, they kind of have that rivalry like they had back in the 80s. Sure. But
I think Reese is low key a hater. She got game. She got game. But I think like she creates this villain aspect of her, and then like I said, like after they lost, you know, everybody was like, "Oh, you guys are ganging up on this girl," but it's like she brought this upon herself, unfortunately. But I do agree. I think Cameron Brink will be. I think she'll be Rookie of the Year, honestly.
I also think this, and again, I'm gonna ride this line of political very, very finely because I do think this goes a lot into it. Caitlin Clark is getting a lot of unnecessary hate from the outside that isn't her fault. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things in life you cannot like you can't control. Like we can't control our ethnicity. You can't control that. Mm-hmm. Like we were born that. So for you to have like, this is what bothered me over anything here recently was I can't stand The View. That show is absolutely ridiculous in some of the things they say.
Like Whoopi Goldberg or whatever. Ain't that The View?
Yeah. Did you see what they had talked about? They started, they've said we're trashing Caitlin Clark and saying the bottom line is she is a spoon-fed white privileged girl from Iowa that is coming into a minority predominantly dominated league, and the bottom line is you have to come in here and you have to what does she put it? She in other words basically was like you got to know your place. That's not how this works. It's not know your place. It's earn your place. You earn it. You don't know it. This is a league of sport. You come in here, it doesn't matter what your background is. What matters is what your skill set and how good, like what person you are. And you can't come in here and try, and again, I feel like they're using this as just another way to try and like bring politics into our sports. And like, I'm sick of it, dude.
Yeah, but like Michael Wilbon and what's his partner's name? I forget. But they had a pretty good take on it. And I mean, I do think her being, I don't agree with whatever The View said, but I do think her being a white player makes it more challenging for her to appeal to the masses of the WNBA. Like if she came in as a black player, it'd be completely different. But
for sure.
And I think that's the downside to it. And I do think she's getting a ton of fucking hate. Like I'm in a couple group chats and like anytime I watch some dude analyze all of these stats about how many shots she takes and percentages and like basically saying she's not one of the best players ever. And I'm like, but she is. She won a national title. Or no, she didn't win a national title, but she played in the national championship game, all-time leading scorer, and she's a volume shooter. So it's hard to judge metrics on the type of player that she is. She is a volume shooter. She takes a lot of shots, so her percentages aren't always going to be exceptionally well. But yeah, I mean, she's the face of the league, and they got to embrace it. They don't want to embrace it, but she's the reason why y'all ain't fucking flying Spirit Airlines no more. like let's be honest here.
I think it's a little bit, and I think people will get mad at me for saying this. I think it's a little bit of a reach, and it's almost like the easiest thing to go to when you go to the race argument of it, because well, there's two things I want to say over here. One, I think we can all pretty much agree that right now the GOAT of the WNBA is Sue Bird, and she is a white woman, and Diana Taurasi came in as a white woman, and so I don't know. I mean, and then I guess in the rankings, like Candace Parker's going to be in there. What's the name from throughout the 90s when we were as kids? What's her name?
Cheryl Swoops.
No, Cooper. Tall one that did all the dunking.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name right now, but yeah. I mean, so you got. I don't know.
I don't feed into it.
Maybe. I mean, is it easier for them? I don't know. I don't think nobody's leaning to it. But at the end of the day, with all this noise going on, and when we talk about women giving her a hard time, and because she's a rookie, and stuff not being fair for Caitlin Clark.
Mhm.
Everybody's talking about it except for Caitlin Clark. Like at the end of the day, like she's taking it. You know what I'm saying? She's like her and Angel both. Angel's been getting. I saw Angel get her butt knocked down like under the paint like the other day. Like I mean, like they're taking it though. They're not making excuses. Like we are. Everybody else is. Everybody else is making excuses for Caitlin, and Caitlin's like, I'm just gonna keep playing. Like,
but Caitlin's also not running her mouth. I think that's my issue. Is you got
she
Angel,
shows up to play. She talks some shit on the court, but that's it.
Yeah, but she's not coming out here in front of them and running her mouth, and basically, I guess she's not asking for this. Like she's not over here antagonizing it. Angel Reese is like that's my issue. Is Angel's like putting like gasoline on the fire in the situation.
I mean, to a degree, it's like I would be sick of my post game interviews being asked about another woman in the league. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm in,
shut it down.
I'm in here hooping. I'm in here hooping, but it's like that's also the media's job to. They got to stop bringing that up because all they're going to do is get headlines anyways. They're going to get headlines, and that's. But it's good. It's good for the game. It's good to have a rivalry. But I mean, I think she does feel into it because she had a whole like little part in there how she said she doesn't mind being the villain.
Right. She says like I'll be the villain. So I think she's feeding into it a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, but she said something along the lines of like, "There's other women that are bringing eyes and something like that." And I'm like, I hate to break it to you, but Caitlin Clark is the reason why viewership is up. But did you know the WNBA draft was up viewership? It was like 350%.
It was like 300%. Yeah, it's crazy. Can I say something? Me personally. Now I know everybody's story is different. That's on Fox that speak on it or something like that show.
Oh, FS1 or whatever.
It was like it's the one with
it's the older dude. He's like black, light skinned dude. That you talking about?
No, yeah, with Taylor's sister.
Yeah,
Jason Taylor's sister.
Oh, Joy Taylor.
Joy Taylor.
Yeah,
like the one that showed her
McCoy, and
she said whatever. That everybody knew who Angel Reese was. And I knew Caitlin Clark before I knew Angel Reese. This is me. I'm speaking on Brandon. Yeah. And I feel like, and I said this out loud, and I said this in a comment section. Those people that commented back to me and they agreed with me. I didn't know Angel Reese until she did this in front of Caitlin Clark. Like I didn't really, or until like that's who I really figured out who Angel Reese was. Maybe it's different for everybody else. But I personally remember hearing stories, hey, there's this girl that just don't miss on threes. And then I started like kind of paying attention. And then Angel Reese came. But there's this notion out there that people were saying that that's just me. I think they benefit from each other.
Well, yeah.
But
Angel Reese played on a star-studded team, but Caitlin Clark took that team to be a number one seed. I mean, it'd be one of the best teams in the country when she was at Iowa. But that's a lot on Caitlin Clark. I mean, the WNBA, it's great.
It was 30 minutes on WNBA.
As a dad who's got a little girl, I love seeing women's sports thrive. I love seeing women getting their recognition. Speaking of recognition, Doris Burke, she deserves her flowers. First woman ever to commentate in the NBA Finals, and she's doing a hell of a job. It's crazy to think that it took this long, considering how elite of a sideline reporter she's been for the last, 20 years at least. I love Doris Burke, one of my favorites out there. But yeah, shouts out to her. I do got a couple other things I want to get to that aren't going to be as entertaining as the eliteness of the CFL or the NFL, but a couple things.
Hey, can I make one comment before we move off the WNBA thing? Because there's one thing that we didn't touch on.
Speak on it.
Yeah, let me say it with my chest.
Talk your shit.
How do you guys feel about this? Because this is something that I will say I didn't really agree with. We were talking about the Olympics. They're doing that 3-on-3 thing now. Did y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you see the team that was picked?
No, I didn't even pick this.
They picked Cameron Brink, as they should. They picked another WNBA player, but the third person they picked was not Caitlin Clark. And it should have been. It was Haley Van Leef.
Oh, wow.
Who is not even a professional basketball player yet. And I have a problem with that. That felt disrespectful. And if I'm Caitlin Clark, I definitely would feel disrespected.
Yeah, that one wouldn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, Well,
the only thing I can think of is just maybe it's just the safety concern of that many, the population of what she's going to bring. You know, I know that. I mean, I know she's got to be having a hard time being who she is.
how many players are on their 3-on-3 team? Like they have people come off the bench, right? I'm guessing.
I can't assume it's more than one or two.
Olympics 3-on-3 basketball.
So do they treat it like soccer, where, like, because I know here with Sporting, the players, like, they got selected for the USA team a few Olympics ago. They left Sporting and to play for the USA team, and I think all around the country they do that. Does WNBA do that also? Like, players just don't play in the WNBA to go play in the, or is it not happening at the same time?
I don't know.
So you have Cameron Brink, Haley Van Leith, Sierra Burdick, and Ren Howard.
There's 4.
Those are your 4. Yep.
Man, you only got one alternate.
It's just 3-on-3 tournament. I mean, alternates you need.
I just think I would think you need 3. Like, I don't know. That's what I would.
I doubt they're playing a full, 48-minute.
They're playing half court. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just. I guess they have. I shouldn't say alternate. I guess they're alternates because they have bench players. I guess they only want one bench player. Yeah. But I'm saying they probably do have alternates. Like if somebody gets hurt.
My only thing is like only reason why, if I'm Caitlin Clark, I wouldn't care about Cameron Brink making the team. Based on her position, I wouldn't care about the other girl or the other girl. But Haley Van Lith, considering the fact that I made her my what in the entire NCAA tournament, like when we played against each other, like I fucking cooked her ass. I made memes out of that girl.
That's a problem, guys. Like that's a problem. That's not only a missed opportunity, but that's
a missed opportunity.
That's disrespectful, in my opinion. If I'm Caitlin Clark, I feel disrespected.
And if we want to talk about a little bit more disrespect, I'm gonna bring something that's gonna get Brandon's attention. Your boy Pat McAfee calling Caitlin Clark a bitch. How do you feel about that?
What?
Dang.
You didn't hear that?
When was this?
You didn't hear that? He apologized and everything. He didn't directly say it, but he was like, "You got the baddest white bitch." That's what he was saying. He was like, "And you got the baddest white bitch who doesn't make the Olympics." And I'm like, you can't say that, bro. I know you didn't mean any harm by it, but you can't say that, dog. You didn't hear it? I'm surprised. You watch everything about Pat McAfee.
I haven't watched this show in
he sent out an apology and was like, "I didn't mean it like that," which I'm sure you didn't, but that's a major flub.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I got to watch it, but I don't really.
That's what he said.
Really see that.
You got
loose over there, bro. Get real loose.
Yeah.
I mean,
y'all been talking? Have you talked about it? Did you call him?
I didn't call him. We ain't talking. We ain't talked in the ever.
Sliding his DMs. Brandon's in his Brandon's in his message request on Instagram. He ain't checking yet.
All right, so
excuse me, Mr. McAfee. You answer my message, please.
So I was looking at this, and they do. So it does overlap with the season.
What?
Because I just saw the playoffs start in September for WNBA.
Really? I didn't think. I thought their season was only like 3 months. Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, it started in May.
Yeah. That's what it said. 2024. It says playoffs began September 22nd. So yeah, it will overlap with the
let's be honest. The Indiana Fever are not going to be in the postseason this year.
No. I'm talking about. I'm just talking in general. I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about in general with all the other players. Like, I mean, you got Kelsey Plum, who's just they're looking to go back to back. You know what I mean? So
wait. So the Summer Olympics is in September?
No, the WNBA playoff starts in September. So I'm saying their season is going to overlap with the WNBA or with the Olympic season or with the Olympics this year. So I'm saying those players are going to have to, I'm imagining, leave their WNBA teams to play on the USA team. I mean, when you
it's being held from July 28th to August 11th, so it's about 2 weeks. They'll be gone in pairs.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this much: there ain't no way in hell that they're allowing all them girls from Las Vegas Aces to do that and miss the playoffs in a repeat.
They're not that. Yeah, they're
not gonna miss the playoffs. But
I mean, honestly, I don't see anybody stopping the Las Vegas Aces for a very long time.
They're so stacked. And when money's not really an option, let's be serious.
Yeah, they're in Vegas,
right? Like,
and it's like they're not paying them a ton of money anyway. So
No. And you're the only team that has its own dedicated stadium and training facility.
yeah, I mean,
Like, you're not going nowhere.
yeah, Wilson dropping 30 the other night, and she's been on a tear, bro.
She averaged at 28, dog.
Yeah,
she's
crazy.
averaging a double-double. She averaging 28 and 12 rebounds, and she's also averaging almost 3 blocks a game.
Yeah, she's getting busy.
All right. What else is on the menu?
I got a few things on here. Some of this stuff is old. Obviously, R.I.P. Larry Allen. That was unfortunate news. One of the greatest.
Yeah.
One of the greatest to come out of that Dallas reign, the America's team.
You can probably make an argument that might be one of the greatest if not the greatest lineman of all time. I mean, only Jonathan Ogden is another one. Like Willie Rofe is another one that comes to mind. But like
by far the most athletic.
Yeah, I drew out a team. I did this probably 10 years ago almost, and Larry Allen's on there. Like I got Larry Allen on that starting lineup, and it's kind of hard for us to rank offensive linemen, to be honest. Yeah. Because especially for the older ones, the numbers really weren't there until most recently.
Yeah, the deep.
But I mean, the tape speaks for itself. If you watch, like Larry Allen's probably one of the very slim few offensive linemen that have probably an extended highlight reel on YouTube. Like I guarantee there's like several like highlight reels of Larry Allen.
I won't say, and he's one of the strongest. They do 700 pounds, wasn't it? Bench press. 700 pound. Yeah, 700 pound bench press. Yeah.
He benched like 225. But
I will say, he does have a low light. He got, what the fuck's that linebacker's name? Played for Philly and Green Bay.
Oh,
fucking
Philly.
The preacher dude. I called him a preacher, but then
Philly and Green Bay.
You're
talking about Reggie White.
Reggie White. There you go.
He's a
DN.
DN. RIPN as well. That's why several.
Yeah, but there is a highlight of him doing that move where he gets people underneath their armpits,
swim,
and then lifting them up. And he did that to Larry Allen. He got Larry Allen on that mug, man.
If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Reggie White. Another elite.
Greatest wrestler
yeah. I mean, no. Surprise
oh no, but hey, Larry Allen did. He did give. God, my brain is fucked up today. LT. He did give LT the fucking business though. There's a whole tape on that.
Yeah, but what's
LT,
the
there's the mic'd up LT.
What's the time gap between him and LT? I feel like there's several years in between when they were drafted compared to when they were playing.
Reggie was let's see.
No,
are you talking about LT. Reggie or LT? Are you talking about LT and
LT and Larry Allen?
Oh, no, they played against each other.
Well, I get that, but so Larry Allen was drafted in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
When was Lawrence Taylor drafted?
No, he was bad for
1981. So I mean, he had been in the league for over a decade by the time they played against each other. So I mean, it makes sense if he gave him the business then. I don't think he's doing it when he was first drafted.
No.
One other thing I had on the list, which I just think is it's happening, in my opinion, not a lot, but it's also happening way too fucking much. And this is players getting caught betting. Like what is going on for the simple fact that you can't go withdraw $10,000, give it to your homeboy, and have him place bets for you. And under his name. And they're not winning bets. Porter didn't win bets. Homeboy that just got popped in the bigs. He didn't win bets. None of these guys. Calvin Ridley didn't win bets. None of these guys. They suck at betting. So it's like you got all this insider information and you can't even win a bet. Like I don't understand it. Like Shohei's the only guy that was smart enough to have a fall guy. Because he was betting.
Dude, the best thing that came
Shohei was betting.
Yes, he was. Like it or not.
Yeah, that man was there. Nobody takes millions of dollars out of your account and you don't know it. I don't give a fuck if he's your interpreter or not. I'm sorry. When I have access to that type of money and you're married, your wife didn't notice money was missing. Nobody noticed he got caught.
Nobody noticed he had a wife.
Signed a prenup.
Well, yeah, well that too.
Nobody noticed he had a wife.
That is true. That is true. He keep a lot of shit to himself.
Hey, one of the best quotes that came out of that was Pete Rose. You see what he said?
Yeah.
He goes, he's like, damn, I wish in the
interpreter.
70s, 80s, I would have had an interpreter. I would have been in the Hall of Fame by now.
And don't forget too, you also you had the Detroit guys too. You had Jameson Williams doing the same thing, but it wasn't even on his sport.
But the problem is
horse betting.
The problem is, why are you betting in the team facility, dog? You can't wait till you leave. You're connected to the fucking Wi-Fi.
Also, too, why you ain't got a VPN, dog? Like, what century you living in?
What is going on? Like, I do agree that guys should be able to place bets, not on their respective sport, but yeah, you should be able to place bets. Like if I'm it's at Arrowhead. Now, obviously, betting's not legal in Missouri. It's legal in Kansas. But when I step foot in Arrowhead, you know what that banner says all across the fucking stadium? BetMGM.
Trap.
BetMGM the whole time.
Yeah, which is the weirdest shit.
Yeah, I know, but you can't bet there. I don't understand.
Yeah, I know.
like they're trying to push for it, but I'm just like, how do you guys keep getting caught? Is what I don't understand.
Well, also too, like we talked about this on Hear Me Out on Thursday, so I'm glad we're bringing this up. Our boy Joe Payne made a good comment. He's like, how can you make it this big of a deal and make it this bad of a thing, but yet you're going to take millions of dollars from these guys every year? The NFL will,
and you're going to promote
it. Bet ESPN, bet Barstool, bet Penn, Bovada. Pick one. You're holding these massive events in these facilities named after the casinos.
Every sports podcast is you listen to the Pivot podcast 5 minutes in, presented by DraftKings, Prize Picks, this and that. One of my neighbors, well, he used to be a neighbor, was James Krause. I don't know if you follow UFC very much. UFC fighter, wasn't the best UFC fighter, so he started coaching, got a couple of champions, but he would be on ESPN Bets talking about betting on his fighters, because back then you could bet on your own fighters in the UFC. Well, then eventually it became illegal, but yet he was still running bet groups and so public with it and talking about it. Like, these guys get so confident that it's like, oh, I'm not going to get caught. Until one of his fighters, there was several legs placed on one of his fighters getting hurt in the first round because he had a nagging injury. And the FBI is like, how the fuck, or the bookies are like, how the fuck do people know about this? Well, he's been preaching about it in his group chat. It's like, there's no way you could present me with a multi-million-dollar contract and I'm going to do something that's going to ruin that. Because now they're like, these guys are, Porter, he's blackballed from the NBA. Homeboy, blackballed from the MLB. Like, yeah, you can go play somewhere else, but you're never going to make that kind of money because you didn't make that much money when you were in your respective sport to begin with. Like, Porter was on a fucking two-way deal.
It's unbelievable.
It just blows my mind. Like, in the Pete Rose thing, I will say that Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, I'm sorry, 100%. But you've got to get past that. The guy didn't even, he bet, if anything, he bet on himself winning. So it's not like he was throwing games. And he was a manager at the time.
Yep. Well, he's a player manager.
Yeah, I get it, but he didn't have that big of an outcome on the game. And speaking of baseball, did you see the video I shared with the Royal Star base coach?
No.
Oh, man, I thought I sent it to you. I sent it on.
You probably did.
To watch it later. He was making some great calls, man. He was telling guys when to slide. He was paying attention to the pitcher.
Oh, you talking about when he goes down on the ground and stuff with him? Yeah, he does that. Yeah, he's crazy. But
yeah,
man.
I don't really got a whole lot. We just wanted to keep this short and sweet today. Obviously, Justin Jefferson, massive contract, well deserved. That's kind of old news, but still well deserved. Tyson versus Paul delayed. I don't know why that's as big of a deal as it is. He's almost 60 years old and he's about to fight a 26, 7-year-old kid. Dazzling Sports hasn't paid Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. I saw that recently, that those guys haven't been paid for their fight. So there's a lot going on.
I do got one thing I want to touch on.
Garcia got arrested, right?
Recently?
Last night.
No, did not know that. I love the fact that he trolled that entire fight.
Yeah, vandalism in L.A. at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Was arrested.
I got one thing I want to touch on. Do we think Bronny is going to be in the NBA? Bronny James.
I think Bronny
is it? And then, and at the same time, two questions: do you think he's going to be in the NBA? And do we have a nepotism problem in sports?
No, I don't think we have a nepotism problem in sports because we've seen what some of these kids do, and they don't. You might be given an opportunity, but you're not. Bronny's not going to be he's not going to make a roster. I think so to answer your first question, I think that the best outcome is that Bronny gets on a G League team and plays in the summer G League potentially. I think that'd be the best case for him. I don't know if he'll get drafted. I think he'll get a two-way deal potentially. If he does get drafted, LA's the only team that's going to draft him. He's just small, unfortunately. He's athletic, but he's really undersized, and he's got work ethic.
Prior health
issues. He's got work ethic. And now his brother, on the other hand, I do think his brother's got the highest potential.
He's 6'7".
Yeah, so he got all the height. But I don't think like it's. I mean, if there was an nepotism problem, these analysts wouldn't be dogging on him as they have been. There hasn't been that many positive reports on Brodie James. Like his scouting report is not that great, and his NBA comps are not elite. Speaking of elite, they're not elite comps.
Was a better prospect than what freaking Bronny was. You know what I mean?
I think Pippen's son is gonna be
Pippin's. Yeah,
he's like. But I think that's what it is at the end of the day. Like, does some doors open for you? Like when I don't think there's anything wrong with
general.
That.
I think that's life in general.
Look at me at the city here. I mean, some of my parents, my family has worked here, and I got to, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not mind if certain doors open for you. But it's also, especially at a professional level, it's what you do when those doors open for you. Like at the end of the day, like the one that was saying that 30 NBA players can go to the NFL. What was his name? Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers. I mean, you can say he had a door before, but he was the number one player in the country in high school. You know what I'm saying? But his dad was in the NBA. You know, and he was a coach.
But he was a dog. He was a dog at Duke.
Exactly.
I mean, the kid's been nice his whole career.
Yeah, you can go to who they're trying to emulate. Was some doors because at the end of the day they're trying to be like the Griffies. At the end of the day, they're trying to play together, be like the Griffies.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, maybe was some doors open for Ken Griffey Jr., but again, he was the number one player in the country.
Doors were open, but he capitalized on the opportunity. And I think a door can open for Bronny, but if he doesn't succeed, then he's not going to get many opportunities.
I mean, look at Marvin Harrison Jr. Like that's a great example. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. Like. His dad is Marvin Harrison, but like there ain't no question that dog was the number one wide receiver. He could have sat out and would have been the number one receiver.
And he still hasn't signed his NFLPA agreement.
He did.
Did he finally sign? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys understand what that was all about?
Yes.
Like guys having the opportunity. He basically was renegotiating his deal.
Yeah. And it was ridiculous that people have an issue with it. Like you're gonna tell me that you're gonna have a problem that these guys don't get paid. You know what I mean?
I don't know what just happened.
Sorry.
We got a lot. It's like we got lights going on.
You're going to have a problem with these guys not getting paid, right? And then now they get paid and you have a problem with them negotiating what they're getting paid. Like, you can't make up your mind. Like the bottom line is Marvin Harrison Jr. is not on the same level as some of these guys that are getting drafted after him. No. He just ain't.
And he's not and he ain't signing jerseys for $1 a pop. He wants $50 a pop. If I'm signing 1,000 jerseys, I want $50 a pop, not $1 for what y'all get. Because I don't need this money.
Another receiver that I'm telling you right now, like you talk about name notoriety, but it's gonna be dangerous because people sleeping on him. You watch that boy Brendan Rice. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Work ethic.
I am rooting for him. I truly am because he's got a great story. Obviously, his dad is, if not the one of the greatest wide receiver of all time.
He is the greatest wide receiver.
Yeah, I agree, but some people don't agree. Longevity, best ability is availability, and that motherfucker was available for several years. And he was great. He was great at USC, and he showed up. When his friend died. I mean, one of his best friends got killed. I think right before the draft or something like that. Still made it to the combine and all that. But he definitely got a lot of work to do. But for him,
he has a lot of work to do.
But for him, his ceiling's not so high, so he can come in and struggle a little bit. Now, granted, your dad is who your dad is, but his expectation isn't to be a dog right out the gate.
But
he's in a good situation. He's in LA, right? Then the Chargers pick him up.
He's with the Chargers. But here's the deal, guys. Like the most dangerous animal.
Fucking camera died. Now I'm
the most dangerous
Brandon.
Animal is an animal that feels like its life is in jeopardy or it's in a corner. I'm just telling you right now. Like you talk about these guys that come out of these late rounds that just come out of nowhere. Like Brendan Rice, you heard it first, bro. Like I put my money on work ethic and genes. Like if you're gonna come in here, the dude already was nice at USC. Let him have no expectations as a 7th round pick, and let Jerry Rice be pissed off, and let Brendan Rice be pissed off, and let them boys work together. Because I don't know if you know this, he wasn't gonna train his son. Like that wasn't the plan. Now he has decided that he has put his things on hold to be able to train Brendan exclusively. So that's
also
what I'm
saying. How good of a relationship did they have? I feel like Jerry Rice had a lot of fucking kids just floating around out there, and suddenly this kid popped up.
And it's weird, man. Go watch the interview on Keyshawn Johnson's podcast. Mm-hmm. It's weird. It's like I'm not gonna say anything. Just watch it yourself and just. All I can say is that
did he interview him or something?
Keyshawn Johnson interviewed Brendan Rice,
okay.
and and it's I don't know. It's just like it feels like they don't have that close of a relationship.
Yeah.
But the other people say that they do. They're super close. I'm like, it's just like the way he talks about his dad. It's just I don't know. It's just
football.
You could tell he's one of the kids. He grew up with his mom probably, and Jerry was kind of out doing his thing. But he's probably been he was an active father. But if nepotism existed, Jordan's kids would have made it to the league. Let's just say that we can move off of that conversation. His kids were bums.
Let me ask you guys this question, because this is something that went on, and I would love to get an unbiased towards my own personal fandom's opinion, because as we all know, in the 80 group chat, anytime I bring up anything to do with a player that may or possibly smells like a Jet, I just get absolutely just roasted.
Mm-hmm.
So the beloved CJ Stroud made a comment here recently on an interview talking about how he believed that essentially alluded to Aaron Rodgers being a bad teammate his years in Green Bay, and had the audacity to say that Matthew Stafford, given the same situation, the same career arc as Aaron Rodgers as far as talent around him, would have won 3 to 4 more championships compared to Rodgers won. Do you guys agree, or do you think that this boy CJ needs to maybe quiet down a little bit, put some respect on it?
So he's saying that. Say that again.
He said that Matthew Stafford, given Aaron Rodgers' career, like put in this situation, so remove Rodgers, put Matthew Stafford, he would have won 3 to 4 championships opposed to Rodgers has won.
So let me say this. I do like C.J. Stroud because he does seem like a very intelligent quarterback. I've been listening to him and Micah Parsons on that show they were doing this summer. I don't know if they got a podcast together or not. Very intelligent. That I would not say is a very intelligent take. I mean, let's be honest. Matthew Stafford played with one of the most elite wide receivers at the time, and granted, the overall body of the team wasn't the best, but it's hard to say if you drop this guy here and drop this guy there.
That was a great use of the word elite. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay.
Great use of that word.
But I mean, it's been very widely speculated and talked about that Aaron Rodgers isn't a great teammate. And I think that changed when he got to New York. I feel like, some things have potentially changed for him. But I don't think if you trade their careers that Matthew Stafford just all of a sudden and maybe because I mean, the Packers when Rodgers won, I mean, they had a pretty good defense. They had some Hall of Fame guys on that defense. I mean, they had Clay Matthews. They had who was their corner at the time? Played for the Raiders too. Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Can I say something?
Rod Woodson. Rod Woodson.
Oh yeah, they had Rod
Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson. Sorry.
Charles Woodson was on
so
there.
I mean, maybe there's a potential that Matthew could have won with that team. I mean, they had a good team.
Let me say this.
But I wouldn't say he would have 3 over Rodgers.
No, I don't think he would.
I think he could have won 1 for sure.
People forget how much Rodgers put those bad teams on his back and won 4 MVPs.
But that's where I'm going to go to. And Aaron Rodgers, some of his best years, he was the best player on his team by far. In Matthew Stafford's best years, he was not the best player on his team. He was not the best offensive player on his team. Cooper Kupp was. Megatron was. Those were the best players on his team. When your wide receivers consistently outshine your quarterback play, that's not good as a quarterback. I'm not saying that he put up a few 5,000-yard seasons. Like, I'm not saying that he was a terrible quarterback. I don't believe that at all.
I mean, from 2011 to 2017, he had a run. He did.
Yeah, and you'll see multiple 5,000-yard seasons in there too.
He just got one.
Does it change?
Well, I thought it's only one. I thought it was multiple.
He's got a couple that are 4,800, and but he's only got one. That was his third.
But either way, he was a great he's a good quarterback, very good quarterback. But
let's be honest,
if you switch their careers and just put him on that Green Bay Packers, no.
Let's be honest, and let's just say this too. If you switch, let's just switch their careers. If you switch Aaron Rodgers to that last championship game that Matthew Stafford won, Aaron Rodgers walks away with 2 rings. He's got 2 rings in his career. Because let's be honest, you talk about being the best player on the team. He wasn't the best player on the team when he won his ring. He wasn't even close to the best player on the team. He was barely the best offensive player, honly. He wasn't the best offensive player. Actually, no. Cooper Kupp was.
No, and before that, the first half, OBJ was the MVP. And the first half until he got hurt, and then Cooper Kupp took over. Like, it wasn't like I just what I'm saying, like, when a lot of quarterback, I'm not saying it's great when quarterbacks have just elite talent on the outside. Like, switch them around. Give Aaron Rodgers Megatron for a few seasons.
Rodgers has done more.
Could you imagine? Right? Could you imagine?
He's done more with less.
Give Rodgers that Randy Moss, Wes Welker Patriots team.
Yeah, you give a lot of quarterbacks that team.
Yeah,
but Rodgers.
I mean, you give anybody. You give any of those top 5 quarterbacks.
I will say he's done more with
Randy
less.
Moss.
I mean, the year he won MVP, he didn't have a ton of. I mean, he had a ton of studs around him. I mean, he threw 40. He threw 40 some touchdowns and like 6 picks or something like that.
Yeah.
And then before he got Devontae Adams, I mean, he didn't have a ton of talent. I mean, Jordy Nelson. I mean, he went without him for a couple of years. You know, and he was hurt all the time. And granted, they've always had some decent defenses, but I mean,
he had Jimmy Graham like decrepit.
He's always been. He had like a 2-3 year run, and then after that, he's just been whatever.
But my thing is with this whole situation is you're talking, and this is what the respect thing for me with Rodgers. You're talking about a guy who's like arguably top 5 ever played the game for a talent standpoint at the position of quarterback ever versus Matthew Stafford. Like, that's not even the same.
Nobody's going to put Matthew Stafford in any top 10 list, I don't believe.
I mean,
even with the Super Bowl,
hey,
like
56,000 total yards, 80. Let's see here, how many total touchdowns? 357 total touchdowns, and a Super Bowl. I mean, he's got a Hall of Fame career. Not a first ballot. He'll get in when he's like. He'll get in when he's 55, 60, something like that. You know, but
he'll get in.
Like
but I'm saying nobody puts
him.
Time. Yeah, nobody puts him in a top 10 quarterback of all time. Like nobody's putting him in that category.
Which
people are
to talk to the Rodgers situation, like in general, that's why, like, for me, when I look at, again, to your point, done more with less, I look at the Jets offense right now, and for anybody to look at that on paper and go, the Jets are not the number 1 team in the AFC East is absolutely ludicrous because we've seen what he has done with less. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't shatter his ankle carrying the flag out again this year.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Again, on paper. That's why I say on paper.
Because I mean, this is it for him. I would say, you know,
if he gets hurt again, he's done, dude.
I think even if they don't make a big push, this is, I mean,
I don't know.
Do you think he?
I think he stayed because, again, like, I'm in a lot of these forums. I know I'm connected to a degree with a lot of these, like, you know, call them Jet content creators and stuff. And the buzz is pretty solid around Rodgers staying for another 2 years. Like, that has been, like, it hasn't shifted one time because, I mean, it's really a thing of, like, Garrett and Sauce and Brees and all those guys. Like, I mean, they're here and they want to win with Rodgers in New York. Like, that's the thing. I mean,
I feel like hope you get ready, because I think Sauce Gardner is going to pull a Darrelle Revis and just start betting on himself and moving around. He's going to end up playing for like at least 6 or 7 different teams.
So?
Nah.
I think honestly, when you come to elite corners, elite DBs, I think that's the best thing you can do. Honestly. And with the way the contracts are, like, I truly believe
not if you have
if you just continue betting on yourself. That's what God damn, he was with the Cowboys last year. I don't know where he's at this year.
Oh, you're talking about Gilmore. Yeah, but
Gilmore. That's what Gilmore's doing.
Gilmore's doing it now, though. I think that, but
he's like 32. That's like 40 years old cornerback years.
I think it's really hard. I think it's also really hard to continue to have like an elite career as a cornerback. Like, it only lasts for so long.
Safety.
It only lasts so long. Like, Sauce has got 2 or 3 more years. I mean, we've seen it happen with Jalen Ramsey. We've seen it.
But
it's
been the trend for. I
think Sauce has more than
elite corners.
But who though? Outside, but Darrelle Revis didn't. Darrelle Revis was only elite in New York.
The greatest of all time. Did he play for? He was 5 different.
But
5
Darrelle
different teams.
Revis was only elite in New York.
His career wasn't that long.
Like, he
what
wasn't.
Do you mean?
He went to the Buccaneers after that. He was not the Islanders.
He went to the Bucks. He played for the Pats.
He was with the Patriots. He was really good
wasn't
for the
the-
Patriots.
He was good. He was good in
What do
New
you
England, and he
mean?
was good in New York. He wasn't like
Like,
you make it seem like every team he went to, he was dominating and he was elite. That wasn't the
but
case.
no, what I'm saying is what he did was just continue betting on himself and getting those big contracts every time he would go. He would just get another fat
he
check.
didn't get a fat
Play a
check
year,
because
and he would play a year, do good, fat check again. That's just what they do.
His Bucks contract was fat, but after that, dude, none of those contracts were fat. They weren't.
Yes,
They're
they
one-year
were.
deal.
He played for the Chiefs, and that was it, brother.
Yeah, they was go look at them. They were all big contracts for a quarter.
All right. Oh shit. Oh shit.
And then,
Let's
but that's
find
what I'm
out.
saying. Like, that's
I'm
what you
looking right
saw
now.
guys doing. He even said he took the playbook from Dion. He's like, Dion went around. So
He
I
signed
started
a
going around.
6-year, $96 million deal with Tampa. That was his largest contract. Let's see. Prior to that, he was as a rookie from 2007 to 2012. He was on a 6-year, $37 million deal, and then a 4-year, $46 million deal, and then he was with the
Jets.
Bucks. That was his biggest contract.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, he got
His
paid.
biggest
once.
contract was with the Jets from 2010 to 2016.
So wait, did the Chiefs didn't have to pay?
No,
for
he
him?
got paid 16 a year. With Tampa, that was his largest contract.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. That's my bad. I was blocked right here. Ah.
So
The man got paid.
But not everywhere he went. That's what you're saying. If you ever,
He did. He
everywhere
just gets
he
got paid.
bro.
no,
it
he
ain't
got
even
paid because of what the fuck is going on? He got paid. He got paid because of what he did with New York. But I mean, we want to look at like he wasn't elite in Tampa. Was he an elite cornerback in Tampa?
He was hurt.
Like
He was hurt, bro.
Yeah, he got hurt a lot in Tampa.
one last thing, and we can close this out. But I know you were working on something hypothetical, but we'll worry about that next time. I do have a question since we're talking about we talked about the Summer Olympics, and you can pull it up if you need to. I can pull up the sports. If you had to bet on your life
Whoa.
to qualify, what
What'd you just say?
what are you struck?
You're not. We're not taking away my hypothetical.
Wait, you didn't even
waiting
have
for
it
this-
completed.
I do have a hypothetical.
Like, if it's a repeat of something we've already done,
It's not.
go back to the drawing board.
It's not a repeat. It's not a repeat at all. It's brand new. Go ahead. Keyword. What'd you say about the
No, do you
Olympics?
think? Do you think?
No, you said Olympics. Go ahead. We
No, do
close
you-
out the show.
Do you hypothetical?
Oh, hypothetical is very simple. It's a very simple one.
Because I'm about to hold on.
$1 million on the line, people.
Hold on.
Your ambiance.
You like that? You like
Your
this
ambiance
80
is
Astros one?
good.
Sorry, boys. Had to
Oh, he
get
put
back.
it-
Had to get back to the better camera.
Get the camera.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
was looking trash.
plug the-
Respect it.
You plug
Okay.
the charger in.
No, I think the battery got too hot. You got
Oh.
overheated. 'Cause you got about an hour on these things. I got the cheap version.
It's okay. It's okay.
The content creator starter pack.
$1 million on the line.
Okay.
You got to take a hit, but you get your choice.
Oh, we've done something like this before.
No, we're not. You got to take your hit. Would you take 100 mile per hour to the dome with a helmet on, of course? Be a defenseless receiver going across the middle with the number one linebacker in football? Or would you take a head chair shot from one of the strongest WWE wrestlers for $1 million? Which one would you do?
I'll take a baseball to the head.
Baseball to the head, 100 miles per hour?
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy answer.
Do I get to
Easy.
pick where he hits me in the head too with the helmet on?
What, it's a head.
I-
Where you
do,
gonna,
do I get to pick my own helmet too? I mean, I'm gonna.
Like this
there-
is the
there-
only
what's the
situation
parameter?
where
Yeah.
you're offering us something
Like-
that can protect us.
Yeah, like
Come on.
like defenseless
I guess it
receiver or a
and they
chair
do
to
it.
the
Ear
head.
hole.
Broken ribs or
Have y'all
fractured
ever-
skull. Like that's what you're asking us. Or would you rather be okay and get $1 million?
Like I'm gonna
Have you-
walk
wait,
away
wait,
from
time
that.
out.
I'm gonna walk away from that though.
You are gonna walk away from it. But that fucking ear hole hurts.
Oh,
Are you kidding me?
I bet it does.
Like,
I know it does.
You're not going to feel good. I've been hit with a 90 mile an hour ball and then I was out. I was done. 100 miles per hour?
Yeah, but
You
how long were you
ever
done
had
for?
Multiple broken freaking ribs?
Yeah.
No, I never had a broken rib.
No,
I would
can't
also
breathe.
rather take a ball to the ear hole. It's still somewhat protected than a fucking
Bro,
chair
the
on
ear
top of
holes
my
hurt,
head.
Bro. The ear
There's
hole
nothing.
hurts.
You don't think a chair to the head's gonna hurt?
Nah, fuck no. They do that every time. They do that every day.
No.
Well, back in the Attitude Era.
No. Also, speaking of wrestling, before I ask this next Olympic question, I did start watching the Iron Claw. What a fucked up movie, man. What a
Right?
fucked up family. I blame their dad.
Why you blaming that?
Because
You should.
are you kidding me? He pushed his dream onto his kids to the point of obsession, and it fucking killed them all. One of them.
I blamed what they didn't talk about in the movie: steroids.
No, but again, they wouldn't have been on steroids had their father not forced them to fucking wrestle.
This may be true.
I mean, like,
This may be true.
he was so obsessed with
He
his
didn't even-
fucking championship that he pushed it on his kids, and he fucked his other kid.
There's a whole nother child that they didn't even talk about because his story is so fucked up. I don't know if you knew about that.
Is he dead too?
He's dead too. And they didn't even bring him up. He actually got into wrestling and everything. His story is so fucked up. They didn't even bring him into the movie. They didn't even act like he didn't even exist.
Wow.
Check it out. Look it up, bro. It's a whole nother
I haven't finished the
Didn't even
movie,
bring-
but I started watching it on the airplane last week, and I was like, damn, this is some dark shit.
Yeah, they're
And their family dynamic was weird too. I will say Zac Efron did a hell of a job acting, but the dynamic of that family was fucking weird.
bro. I heard somebody years ago saying, and I used to think it was the stupidest thing in the world, saying that he should be the next Wolverine. But after watching that movie and seeing how fucking jacked he was, I was like, I see it now.
Well, he's got that whole face thing going for him now too. I don't know what happened. But
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, he could probably do it.
I want to see Clint Eastwood's son.
Clint
the
Eastwood's
last
son.
thing I will say this on Zac Efron, I have never watched High School Musical. I have recently, but before that, I had never watched it. Didn't even know he was in it. But my daughter somehow came home from school and wanted to watch that. The worst fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. The absolute High School Musical.
You didn't want it to all be in it together.
Oh my God, High School man,
thought you
awful
would.
basketball player. The style
Yeah, it
was
was
awful back then. Oh my God, I can't believe we used to dress like that. Horrible movie. But I want to finish on this note.
I wanted my shorts as low as possible back then.
Yeah. Basically, I saw a guy yesterday. I took my daughter to the fair, basically the fair downtown days. I mean, Buddy had on a pair of shorts I probably would have wore back in 04. I mean, you could only see like this much white of his socks. And I mean, them things was long. And you know what else is coming back?
Were they and one?
Nah, or what Brandon used to have back in the day was like when you had all the teams like patched on the fucking jeans.
Oh, bro.
I remember
That was
that.
all. That was
But
the
you know what's
shit.
coming back? Cargo pants.
shit-
Cargo pants are making
Cargo
a comeback.
pants coming up?
Bro, before we went out of town, I went shopping just to try and find a pair of like regular like linen type pants. Every single store I went into in the mall, everybody's got cargo pants. That's a thing now. That's all the kids wear. Fucking cargo pants.
Oh.
So
I didn't know that was this thing coming back. I saw some like baggier pants coming back too.
The oversized shirts, man. That's what I'm into right now.
Oversized shirts.
I got me a
there you
couple.
go.
I got me a
Get
couple.
me into that.
I got me a couple.
Because the dad.
We used to call them shirts in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to call that an extra large.
I didn't know nothing about no medium. I was 2-3 sizes up on everything I wore. Headband on, fitted hat, and the dog tags. Did y'all do the dog tags down there in
I
Texas?
did dog tags.
Oh
yeah.
boy, I had the dog tags. Shouts out to my service members. I was not one of y'all, but I sure as hell had me some dog tags.
Hey, I guarantee you
With my
find me
picture
dead
on
on
them.
the street. You know who I am.
With my picture on it.
I think I had a pair of dog tags.
You had to get the rubberized things on those so that you looked a little cooler than the guys that couldn't get the rubber.
Or you had the
on
diamonds
inside.
on it. You could get your picture on it. There's a lot of stuff you could do back then. There's a spot in the mall. It's like $25.
While you were answering your AIM call.
Oh, absolutely. That when you had
I didn't-
ringtones, all that good stuff. So
Mm.
a lot of good stuff. All right, last question. You might want to pull this up so you can get this, or because I didn't really. It was in the notes, but I thought you prepared. You're almost as bad as your brother. Life on the line. You've got to, let's just say 10 years in prison or no prison time. You have to qualify, or at least not qualify. What's the word I'm looking for here? You need to medal in an Olympic summer sport. What sport are you picking? So you need to get bronze, silver, or gold? What do you think? Or just in general, what Olympic sport out there do you think you have the greatest chance of bringing home a medal in?
It's any
Easy.
Olympic sports.
Easy.
Any summer Olympic sports, since we're going into the Summer Olympics.
Easy
Huh?
answer. I don't even know why y'all thinking about this. Why? I mean, how's this even a thought? Every single one of y'all should say the same answer.
What's your answer?
Want me to go first?
And we're talking Olympics, not Paralympics, not the Special Olympics. Okay,
exactly.
Just want to make sure you're not trying to pull one over.
No, just put me on the bench of the basketball team. I will get a medal.
No, you've got to play. You've got to play.
Get a medal.
Okay.
Okay, put me in. I don't give a fucking it'd be 4-on-5. We're still gonna medal.
4-on-5 is tough. Some of these teams are good.
I mean, come on.
All right, let's say individual sports.
You see, like when we had that redeem team,
individual.
I was watching that on Netflix. We fucking had that redeem. I'm like,
screwing me up now.
You can put your thumb up, and that does a thumb.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Automatic.
That did.
Yeah. It did when you did. Yeah. See?
Oh, it did. That's awesome. I didn't know. That's pretty cool.
Let's say individual sport. I'm just going through the
individual
list
sport.
of individual
None.
sports.
No.
Let's see.
I mean, if
here.
you're talking about like overall sport, I would actually say flag football would be easier because I feel like I still got hands. Now you just put me at tight end, bro. Just let me be a short little slot guy on the flag football. And we don't know how good the teams are going to be yet because it's the first year that they're doing it.
I've seen some of the.
It's not this year.
I've seen some. What's on there? That's what it says. Flag football.
No, it's not until 28.
Sports.
What about shooting? That's the other one. If it's individual, individual, I mean, that's
you got wrestling, weightlifting, water polo, volleyball, triathlon, trampoline.
Table tennis.
Not sure what that is. Table tennis,
taekwondo.
taekwondo.
There ain't no way I'm beating
swimming, surfing, squash, sports climbing. I don't know what sports climbing is. Sailing, rhythmic gymnastics.
Climbing, that's like
rowing.
That's like.
They have modern. What is this? Modern pentathlon. I don't know what that is. Karate, judo, handball, hockey. I mean, honestly, football I probably have the best shot at, just because that was a sport I was pretty good at. Golf, absolutely.
I guess. I don't think
sport.
I could do anything, but you can throw me on the baseball team and I can try. But that's just I mean, if they medal, they gonna medal with me. Like, I mean, I could give it a whirl.
Maybe the softball team. They got softball.
Oh,
softball,
bro.
That's a little easier.
Oh, don't say that out. Oh, don't
volleyball. I could do some volleyball, bro.
Dominique.
Oh, Brandon, I know what you could do.
Some beach.
Did you know that breakdancing is now an Olympic sport? Remember Mr. Wiggles? Hey, Brandon, for those at home listening, or whenever nobody's listening right now, when you get a chance to listen to this, Brandon was, I mean, it probably still is, was obsessed with breakdancing. I mean, Mr. Wiggles was probably YouTube Mr. Wiggles. It sounds like a porn star name, but he was a dancer back then. Mr. fucking Wiggles, and he'd be on all this shit. And then what's the other guys with the faces? Jabberwockies. Yeah, that was
Jabberwockies.
Brandon be on the internet. This was before YouTube was even a thing.
That was before all those TikTok trends.
Did y'all see this? What about badminton?
I don't know, man.
I just don't know. I don't know how good. I've never actually watched any of these sports, so I need to see. Like, I feel like I could probably be good at is what's the one where you
luge?
No, not luge. It's like you're pushing it on the ice. What's it called?
Oh,
you're sweeping it.
Curling.
I think I might have I think that would be my best bet.
Bro, when I saw that
put
dude,
me on that broom.
When I saw that dude like having the little rock, it's like the rock or whatever it's called. I think it's called something else, but it's like shape. But then he was sliding, and I just saw like the biggest bear belly,
but it's finesse,
like over his. But I was like,
he looked good doing
that. That is the sport I need to play.
You know that there's a curling place here in town.
Yeah, no, it's up north.
They do classes. Yeah, North Kansas
City.
It's
up North Kansas City. Yeah. Yeah. I got this thumb, man. I can't every time
mine ain't doing shit. Anything else you boys want to hit on? Anything else? Any breaking news in sports going on right now? Obviously NBA Finals.
Golf news.
Let's hear about it. Shout out to Scotty Scheffler.
Shout out to Scotty. Hey, shout out to Thoughts Prayers with John Rahm. Had to withdraw from the Live tournament this weekend here in Houston with injury. Apparently hurt his foot. So yeah, don't like seeing that with the boy Rami. But apparently, as reported today, the PGA had more talks with the Saudi-backed Live.
Is it PIF or whatever?
And Yeah, and they have made quite a bit of progress on that merger, which once again is insane to me that there is anything remotely close to that verbiage, being that it was announced that they were merged.
Yeah.
Still can't get over that. Really boils my blood to think about that. What it really was in a moment where you were getting your ass kicked by one of the live guys. You decided, oh, we're gonna the next day we're just gonna buy them when you didn't really buy them. All you wanted to do was look like that you came to your senses, so people would forget about the fact that you're all a bunch of stuck up old white people that don't care about progressing the game of golf.
I wish I had a gunshot on here, but I got this. I will say, Liv did what they needed to do. I mean, they played their hand, and the PGA had no choice but to accept it. Is Liv's format shitty? In my opinion, yes. I think it's awful as a golfer. I think it's less competitive. 100%. But when you've got that much money, they don't give a shit. Eventually, they'll make something work. And if that is becoming a part of the PGA, they'll do it. And
But you know what they're doing though, Dom? They're making every single tournament hole 16 at Phoenix. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're succeeding.
And I do think that golf needs some of that. I really do. I know some of the players don't love the Waste Management tournament. Who was it? He just won recently. I can't think of his name, but he was pissed off at a fan talking. I mean, I get that happens, but you should still have a few tournaments a year where it's like you come in knowing that money, like maybe it's like even a guaranteed, like, you know, wherever you place it, there's no cut line. Everybody's going to win something, but this is going to be a party. I also think, and if you want to talk golf news, where I really think the PGA is dropping the ball, I really think, and we're talking about women's sports, there's no reason why there's not a PGA, LPGA match play tournament every year. Several. There should be no reason why. Because honestly, those girls shoot darts. Nelly Korda is probably one of the most accurate ball strikers in golf right now, professional golf, men and women. Like, most of these women don't miss fairways because they don't hit the ball far. But they don't miss fairways and they don't miss greens. Like, these women are elite. Why is there not a match play? Like, I get you got Capital won the match, but that last one fucking sucked in my opinion. It was not entertaining at all. But you should have a match play tournament. Or like a shamble or a best ball or something where you're getting these women involved and these men involved on teams. Or a Ryder Cup style thing.
I heard somebody talk about it. And this and completely, y'all are the golf people, not me. But they were talking about these, like, having that. This was like years ago when I want to say like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Somebody else brought that up. And it was on ESPN, I believe. But anyways, they were saying like some of these girls are just like so ridiculously good. And so when they're playing from different tee boxes, it's almost not fair for the guys for when they're playing like best ball and stuff like that.
No, the best thing to do, you would have to do an alternate shot. So, you know, Nelly, if you're playing Nelly Korda and Rory McIlroy on the same team, let's say, Rory's going to drive and then she'll hit the next shot and then you'll do that vice versa. You know, kind of like if you get, like when I played in flag football tournaments with women, you know, every other play a woman has to touch the ball. You know, you can't give it to the guy the whole time. So there'd be a way around it, but I just think they're dropping the ball by not combining the sports.
I'll take a step further. I think they're missing the mark, not only in that, but I mean, let's be honest. The PGA is one of very few sports that the league doesn't do an all-star break of any sort. I mean, why could you not do an all-star break style thing? I mean, you've got the whole emergence of the Tiger League, the TGL. Incorporate that to some degree with some of the live stuff, and let's actually have a committee that is from each representative party and each representative league. Grab it from all of them, and let's put together an actual all-star team Ryder Cup format. Why can't we do that?
Because there's a million.
Fantastic.
There is 1,000,001 ways that you can have a golf all-star game. Longest drive, you could have best hole, you could have close to the pin. There's a lot of stuff you could do that people will come out to see, because I tell everybody this all the time. Golf is, if not and I don't know all professional sports. I haven't been to every single professional sporting event. I've been to NBA games, been to NFL games, NHL games. I've been to tennis. I've been to all these games. But golf is the one and only sport where I can literally damn near reach out and touch this guy. And I can follow him around all day. It's the most connective sport that you can be a part of. So they would make so much fucking money on that. It'd be ridiculous.
But even like going along the lines of, let's say that you did some of that stuff with the TGL like arenas, because they're building arenas. Like, let's not forget, like, they're building TGL arenas. So you're holding in at different arenas for like the individual competition side of it, and then you go have like a full blown tournament somewhere, or if you want to do it outside, right? Like the long drive tournament and stuff like that. That's great too. But it's really, again, it's like you said, it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Because that's an easy way not only to bring unity between all of the golf world, because now we are in a point where there are multiple, right? Like you've got the Euro Tour, you've got the PGA, the Live, you've got the women's LPGA, and if I remember correctly, there's the Champions Tour, right?
I mean, you got a lot. You got DP World Tour, Champions
DP
Tour.
World.
You've got the Euro Tour, whatever that is. There's all sorts of
Why
shit.
not
PJs
grow
of America.
it all? Grow it all.
They're
Like,
dropping the ball. I think they need to do more pro-ams. Do pro-ams with guys like me that are like 15 handicaps. Like, let me come in there and let me try and win some money with y'all. Like, on the same team, though, not individually. I think there's a lot of things they could do.
I do agree with you with the whole. I mean, because look at tennis; they do a whole. I think if you look at that list again, I think mixed doubles is in the Olympics too, isn't it?
Probably.
I believe so.
I think they do it for volleyball too. I'm pretty sure. I want to say.
Maybe. I think they used to when they used to have the volleyball. Like,
yeah, I think they used to. I think it was like women.
I think you might be. I think you might be right.
I just think that in a sport that is growing in such popularity, there should be no reason, especially like these are two sports where the men and women can play together. Like this ain't like the WNBA versus the NBA or, you know, what any other league, like women's softball versus MLB. Like these are two sports that respectively can play and compete with one another. You know, obviously you might have to change the course a little bit or obviously tee boxes, but some of these women can, I mean, like Nelly Korda would struggle, but I mean, she drives the ball probably every bit of 260, 270.
I mean, like, what about this? Let's even keep it more condensed. Let's not even go outside of the PGA. Why not, given the state of the PGA and what the Golf Channel's been doing with all these YouTube golf content creators, why don't you take the top 20 golfers in the world at the time and the top 20 YouTube content creators that are golfers, put them paired up and have them play a tournament for your All-Star weekend? Like, why not?
You know, or you could have an All-Star weekend and you could have a YouTube qualifier.
Yeah.
Qualified.
I mean, you tell me you won't want to see Bob Does Sports play with freaking with Rory McIlroy or something?
Because let's admit it, more people that are coming to golf are watching YouTube golf rather than 100%. Watching. People watch the majors and they watch YouTube golf. That's it. And they watch the highlights.
They care more about the good Opens than they care about the freaking what is it, RBC Championship, the Canadian Open or whatever.
Unless you're really into golf, nobody actually watches golf. They watch the majors. You watch the Masters, PGA Championship, US Open, British Open, and you watch the Ryder Cup every other year or whenever that is, every 2 years. So one last thing I want to talk about, since we're just talking about sports, and I've said this before on the podcast, but this is one take I have that I think, and a show that I think needs to be brought back that's sports related. And I've said it 100 times, Pros versus Joes needs to come back. It needs to come back, especially in today's age of social media, where guys are online talking all that shit. Pros versus Joes needs to come back. That show would be #1 ranked. Put it on YouTube. You even got to put it on regular TV. It'd be the most watched TV in America.
Did you say it flopped for a reason?
Yeah, because they had old ass pros, but social media is so much different now.
They're before their time, bro.
They really were.
A lot of shows like that.
They really were.
Always going to be a bunch of people like us, podcasters, that are going to get their ass kicked. Like that's what's going to happen.
But some Joes won. Some Joes won. If you remember, some Joes won.
I mean, hey, how about this? Y'all remember the show where the fighter would go take on the bully in the UFC cage? Remember that show? Oh yeah, dude. They used to have a show. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, it was something like that. They were like, but wasn't it?
There's a lot of shows.
They didn't kick their ass though. It wasn't just to scare them.
No. They did. They got it. They got in the cage. They put headgear on them.
Oh, they trained though, didn't they? Didn't they train for a little bit? I want to say.
Well, they called them out and they had to accept the challenge. It wasn't like that.
Yeah. I do remember what you're talking about, but it was just bully versus bully, right? Or bully versus bullied. They weren't professional fighters, were they?
No, they were professional. It was a professional fight.
No. Yeah, like if I'm picking on Brandon can go have whoever fighter
Sean O'Malley
come challenge this guy. Yeah, I do remember that show.
They need to bring that back because I think that was way before its time. Now in the age of like everybody with the cyberbullying, how bad it is now, and people keyboard warriors. Oh, dude, you kidding me?
Speaking of social media, did you know that apparently both of these guys put out bullshit content all the time, so it's hard to tell. But apparently Logan Paul and Bradley Martin fought. Off camera, off scripted, they fought. I don't know if they've had beef or whatever. Like they fought, like knuckled up, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, and then they posted something afterwards, like mad respect for you, Matt. They both were sweating. Neither one of them looked beat up, but apparently they fought. No cameras, no nothing. So I don't know. Be a lot of shows. I mean, bring back I Want to Be Made too. That was a hell of a show. I don't know if y'all remember that. I love that show. I want to be a PGA Tour player.
I
like Punk.
I love Bradley Martin, man.
He's been around forever, man. I want to ask Jed a question before we get off, and I know I keep saying that this will be the last question. We had an argument with our co-host. I don't know. He's no longer with us. He's still alive, but he just doesn't show up for work. Gary, about pissing in a lake. Let me ask you a question. You live in Texas. I'm sure you guys get out on a boats every now and then. I'm sure there's lakes. There's also oceans pretty close to Houston. Now, if you're out on a boat drinking all day, you're out at the beach drinking all day, you got to go to the bathroom. Do you pee in the water?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. This man was making it sound like we were out of, and that's how well we knew he was uncultured. He was like, bro, just take the boat to the bathroom. Where? What bathroom? What bathroom is on a lake, dog? Ain't no. The water is the bathroom.
What does he do if he has to take a shit?
Oh, well, I haven't shit in a lake before. I wouldn't take it that far. I wouldn't take it that far. I usually don't have to shit when I get on the boat. Now
hold on, let's break it down for you. It's pretty easy.
You're showing your skin color now. I don't want to get into the. I don't want to pull the race card on you, but.
Listen, we're not talking like we're just going freely. You ain't ever been in the. Okay, hold on a second. Let me just break this down for you. Let me break it down. You're on a boat all day. Yes. You're on a large lake. Like, you're a ways out. Let's even say, like, because we're in Houston. Let's say we're in the bay. Let's take it a step farther in the bay. Like, you're out. You got to take a shit. What are you going to do?
My shits take a long time, though. Like, I'd be out there floating for a minute.
But I'm talking. But again, I'm talking about, like,
now, you ain't got a choice.
There ain't no holding it. You got to go, bro. Like, it happened on the lake.
I'm
get out there on the lake. You get there on the lake. You let it go. And guess what? You grab that. You grab the little tube. You just let that thing drag you, bro. It's like a bidet. Just let that thing rinse cycle. Just make
sure you swim far enough away that it sinks down.
Yeah.
But now peeing, I'm peeing on myself all day in the lake. Not a problem at all. I was on the lake this weekend. Pissed on myself the whole time.
Pissed on himself all day long. He didn't have a jellyfish sting.
Mm-mm.
He's just going. Out there just for sport.
Letting it flow. Hanging off the back of that ladder on that boat. They'd be like, what you doing? I'm pissing, dog.
Worry about yourself.
I'll be back up in a minute, all right?
Yeah.
All right,
one
man.
thing we did also do is the whole 5-gallon bucket. You ever seen that one before? If we're out like going deep sea fishing, doing it on a boat that ain't big enough that has like a bathroom, you got to go to the bathroom, bro. You just
see when I do that, I just make sure I eat proper foods to not have to shit immediately. You know, you got to just little bologna sandwiches and all that. You know.
See, this just shows me you guys have not been out to the bay a lot, because if you go fish out in the bay enough, like, it's gonna happen.
No, you know where we live. We live in the center of America. Ain't no bays around here.
We got the Ozarks. Ain't a bay, ain't the ocean, but it's a big ass lake.
I mean, okay. Well, what happens whenever y'all?
I spend hours on
pipes freeze.
I spend hours.
Pipe freeze. You can't flush. What y'all doing then?
Yeah, our pipes don't freeze. Yeah, we don't. You got to live in an old house with pipes freezing.
Well, they live in Texas, where when they do have freezes, they never prepare for it.
Yeah.
Well, let's back up. Whenever our pipes freeze, let's just say they don't freeze the second time, because you got to redo it all.
Usually, pipes that are freezing here are like in the kitchen. Toilet's usually gonna work still.
Yeah,
that's generally still gonna work.
I've never been in a house where the pipes.
Don't y'all's cars like have like heaters like on the like where all like the fluid is, right?
No.
The
cars is built just like yours.
We have the same cars y'all drive.
Hey,
we got no special cars.
Act like y'all freaking driving spaceships. Y'all from freaking Mars. Hey, where you come from, do you have things that use wheels?
I'm actually pretty sure
my Jeep like,
came from Texas. I'm pretty sure.
But the difference is y'all don't have basements, right?
Yeah, no, there ain't no basements. I'm in the basement.
Hey, we got no basements in here, bro.
And so a lot of our pipes go down into our basements to where
that's why
it keeps everything like so.
That's
why y'all scared, right? That's why y'all all skittish, because you guys all haunted, or you got people that living down there trying to kill you.
That's because we survived tornadoes, because we went out to the basement where it's safe.
We got this thing called a foundation.
Yeah,
it's gonna protect us.
Yeah, so we don't have that. All we're worried about is absolute lakes turning up into our city.
Dominic, I called this motherfucker during that last storm. He's like, "Hey, we in the storm right now. Let me call you back,
losing my
bro."
camera again.
I'm like, y'all in the storm? What the fucking big deal? You better talk to me, bro. He was like, "Listen, shit's about to go down. Okay,
it's about to go down."
But it was a big ass storm. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
where we're from, if there's a tornado coming, most people go outside and look. Honestly, until it gets close enough, a lot of people just sit on their porch and watch. That's dangerous. It happens all the time.
Yeah, no, here too, because people don't believe they're real. Like that's the problem with us, though. Is they're like, they're like, hey, there's a tornado warning. No, there's not. We all walk out there and be like, yeah, you freaking liar.
We live in Tornado Alley.
Yeah,
man, would not want to be you.
Nah, but hey, man, appreciate.
It's not that bad. The closer you get to the city, it's not that bad.
No, it's only once you get further, like Wichita, you get down to Oklahoma, those areas. That's where all the tornadoes really happen.
It's real bad there.
You mean Dallas? Talking about Dallas, Oklahoma.
Dallas, Texas. Is there Dallas, Oklahoma?
No, we just call it. We just Southern Oklahoma. That's what we call Dallas.
Really? See, I'm not from Texas. I don't know.
We don't claim Dallas here down in Houston.
Why not? Big X the Plug from Texas, man. Hell of a rapper. Well, where's the beef? Bro. Where's the beef with Dallas and Houston?
Here's the thing: the beef is Rangers fans. That's the issue. Like, just one day y'all understand. Y'all come down. We're gonna be up at All-Star Weekend. It's gonna be in Arlington. Y'all need to come down, hang out when we do it. I mean, I didn't even talk to y'all about it yet. I was going to.
Is that what? That's like next month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all will see. Y'all will see what little brother does around Astros fans. They get all spooked, all freaked out.
Wait. Who's little brother?
The Rangers.
Oh.
Yeah, we call him little brother. That's little brother.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Every Astros fan, you actually say, "Hey, what do you think?"
Because they got less championships. Is that why?
And because they've sucked for years.
They did suck for a long, but they sucked the year before they won. But then they
again, it's not by design like that. We're all like made it this way. They're the ones who made it that way. They every time they get a win, you know what it's like? It's like when A&M was still in the Big 12 and they would beat UT like that one time, and they just be like, "Oh, look at us, look at us, look at us," and it's like, dude, shut up. You've been owned. Like for the past like decades.
That's like the MUKU rivalry here in town.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. And it's just like,
how is that anything like the MUKU rivalry?
I'm saying like if MU wins a game, you don't hear the end of it if they beat KU.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you?
I thought you were trying to say it the other way around for a second.
Like when Rangers fans got that ring, like, dude, all we heard about was like the cans came back up, and we're like, dude, like nobody's running from the cans, my guys. Like we accepted it, we moved on from it, and guess what? We came back and won another championship, and we realized, like we looked at it and said, okay, but also too, let's not neglect the fact that everybody else was cheating. We just got caught.
Don't forget about the buzzer.
That wasn't even a thing.
The buzzer too. The buzzer too. Don't forget.
I'm not gonna lie. I like Dallas, Texas. I'm a big fan of Dallas, Texas. I had a great time every time I go.
And I hate when y'all say, like, dude, first off, don't let him skip past this. We're going to get off of here in a second. But
I've been trying to close out for 10 minutes.
They piss me off. These Houston motherfuckers piss me off with this everybody else was cheating bullshit. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's not a proven thing.
Listen, it was a proven. Hold on. Do you read a book? Do you
read articles? Nobody else has fucking buzzards on their fucking
jerseys. Was it proven?
It's 2024. Ain't nobody reading books.
Tell me, bro. That's fair.
Ain't nobody reading no damn book.
Ain't nobody.
Have you not seen the sealed affidavit letter that got opened up that they did nothing with? That they were investigating they had multiple letters sent by other people 3 years before. Go look it up. It's what's the guy's name? I'll send it to you. Clancy has it all filed because anytime people want to bring it up, there's a guy on Twitter that leaked all of it.
It's a .net. It's a .net website. It's not even a
guy
.com
on
website.
User
User 1234.
Okay, hey, it's all right. Hey, the people know what I'm talking about. The real MLB people that are educated, they know what I'm talking about.
They were playing the champ is here during the at bats. The champ is here. And that means fastball.
Hey, still gotta hit it.
That's true.
Just saying.
Listen, I'm not against I'm not against stealing signs because you have signs for a reason. I've never been against stealing
My
signs.
whole thing is Houston took their lumps. We've gone through the scrutiny.
They kind of went. I feel like they went above and beyond in the cheating game. You know, people cheat and they cheated. You know,
they got again. Let's go backwards. The Astros got caught. Everyone else was cheating too. The Astros got caught.
You know what? I'm loving this right now because right now, whenever I'm with these motherfuckers, I was the only non-Astros fan. So I'm sitting here.
Look, I can't. I'm not gonna even be mad about it, bro. I'm just enjoying it.
That's how it was in a group. That's how it was in a group chat earlier. It was one Missouri boy versus 30 Texans.
I mean, to be fair, you literally hit like the deepest bone you could have ever hit with anybody in a Texas-based group chat.
What was it?
I don't even know.
He did the greater than less than sign. Yeah. Dallas, Houston, and as soon as you did that, I was like, "Bet you're off." It don't matter what this conversation about. He's about to get buried right now by everyone in this group.
I didn't know that was a big rivalry.
I neither. I didn't like.
Dude.
I didn't know that was.
Oh, dude. Yes.
I like both. I honestly. I know he said Dallas. I like both. I like both cities.
And you're an Astros fan. Like I'm telling you, like it will get violent. Like it gets violent. I'm not even joking.
It's like
bro.
the old Raiders.
I will put Houston
at the Coliseum.
I will put Houston over Dallas just because they got fucking home field, or what is it? Home dugout. And they got and I'm putting Katy, Texas in there with it. They got a Buc-ee's. So there you go. It's better. Although we are getting a Buc-ee's in Kansas City, so we're pretty excited about that. We're pretty excited about that.
Hey, Kansas on the come up. Don't let anybody know.
Did you hear about that, Dominique?
Yeah.
Right down the street from my house too.
Johnson County, right, or Wyandotte?
No, it's Wyandotte. Right by Speedway. Yeah. Right next to the Speedway. It's gonna be nice, bro. I'm excited.
I won't be going out.
200. They saying 290 pumps.
That's ridiculous.
Boys, it's been a pleasure. I'll have to say.
And they're all gonna have trash bags on them. You know, you pull up to the pumps, got a fucking trash bag on it because it's like out of order. Yeah, no, been a pleasure. Appreciate you coming on, dog. We got to have you on more often. I think in the future we're gonna be hitting round of applause. I think we're gonna be rotating guests more than likely. You know, we're gonna be trying to find some permanent partners, but also just rotating. You know, seeing what we can do to fill some voids here and there. Shouts out to Jet Boyer. Shouts out to Athletically Declined. Make sure if you're not following them, links in our bio, links in their bio. Give them a follow, give them a sub, give us both a sub. Appreciate it, boys.
1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, shout out to you guys as well.
Monetize, baby. Let's make that money.
Baby.
Let's make that money. Let's talk about my check when we get off this. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, absolutely.